Welcome back to Breathtaking, a podcast that I'm sure you've noticed by now celebrates music more than anything else. Well, as promised on Sunday, our next two episodes, both entitled Norman Who, offer a change of pace. By way of introduction, thanks to my wonderful mother, I grew up in a home filled with music, folk music in particular. Among my favorite artists were a husband and wife duo named Murray and Miranda. In one of their lesser known albums, an open air concert, they presented musical limericks honoring cities in which they had performed. After performing three or four of them, Joseph Murray announced,
There was one that was written by our friend, at least two, written by our friend Norman Corwin, who does this in his spare time and has dedicated two to us.
and I thought, not very charitably, who cares what your friend's name is? But a moment later I heard,
This one Norman wrote for all of you who are intellectuals. A poet who lived in New Delhi, New Delhi, wrote a verse on his fair lady's belly. On her belly, he was locked up in jail and was held without bail for stealing the lines out of Shelley.
and from that moment on, I wanted to know who the brilliant Norman Corwin was. To my amazement, I learned that once upon a time, his was a household name. Celebrated as America's Poet Laureate of Radio during the 1930s and 1940s, he wrote and produced many of the most powerful, most influential, and simply the best programs ever created for the medium. When President Roosevelt wanted to celebrate the Bill of Rights, Norman Corwin got the call. In 1945, when the time came to reflect on victory in Europe and soon after in the Pacific, Norman Corwin was the obvious choice. By far my favorite Norman Corwin broadcast is a rhymed radio play that aired in July 1945 with an all-star cast, including Groucho Marx. Here, without further ado, is part one of The Undecided Molecule.
Oh dear, the cosmic alarm, which means I fear some woeful harm is afoot or a wing in the universe. Some deplorable thing, some active curse, like a falling sky, or a new star cluster been banged up by a clusterbuster. Sounds to me like a dried up sea, or another ice age for a spell. Or maybe it's only a freezing hell. On the other hand, it might possibly be that Hitler is alive and well. But after all, there's no point guessing. If it rings again in a manner pressing, I'll answer the interstellar phone. I wish they'd leave a feller alone. Why only last eon? Hello. Yes, this is he. What? Who? What's that? Say that again? But where? But how? But why? But when? Individually and solely? Now, wait a minute. Take it slowly. It did. Oh, no, not that. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat. I'll call a session right away. You bet. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, grunt. Oh, moon. Oh, damn it. We are faced with a calamity. I must be cool as liquid air. Hold on. Who's that? Who's pulling my hair? Why, it is I. What am I scary at? Nonsense. I'll phone the secretariat. Oh, dear, I am in such a tizzy. The obvious rhyme, the line is busy. I'll try again. There's no harm trying. Oh, I'm dying, Egypt. Dying. Hello. Say, this is the 5th VP in charge of physiochemistry. Now listen here. An especially perky molecule has gone berserk. It has refused to be confined, incorporated, or assigned to anything. It simply sits with a calm expression, and it knits. Now, by all means, we must prevent such an utterly dangerous precedent. One holdout molecule, unpent, can cause the cosmos' great ferment. We must arraign this beast and try it. The charge? Inciting particles to riot. Okay, arrange. I mean arraign. I mean all three. I mean the twain. No, never mind. Just get it booked. Or else the universe is cooked. Oh, me, oh, my. Goodbye, goodbye.
Hear ye, hear ye. The Court of Arbitrations and Adjudications of Physiochemical Relations, Department of the Interior of the Atom, Criminal Sitting, Division of Investigation, Charge, Countercharge, Accusation, and Confession is now in session. The court will rise and face the justice who will adjust this case. See that your concentration centers on His Honor the Justice just as he enters. Which he is doing even now. Everybody bow! Everybody bow!
To wit, contrary notwithstanding, you may sit. Clegg, read the charge.
May it please the court, et al. To wit,
It pleases the court. Get on with it. Whose versus whom?
the cosmos and all the spheres, systems, clusters, galaxies, orbits, planets, satellites, together with all species of animals, vegetables, and minerals appertaining thereto, of all conditions of age, social standing, and sex, versus the anonymous molecule hereinafter referred to as X.
What's the charge against said molecule?
Unwilling to be named, rebelling when defined, declining to be blamed, objecting when assigned, protesting when selected, resisting an attack, refusing to be directed, and talking back.
Most serious, most dangerous, so strange it's almost strangerous, insidious, precarious, a shade below nefarious. The possibilities in sight are frightful, meaning full of fright, and rueful, meaning full of rue, and gruesome, meaning rather grew.
Providing, Your Honor, the charges are true.
Oh, why, yes, they must be proven true.
Which is something we have yet to do.
Quite right, but who was asking you? Now, is the prosecutor here?
Present.
Well, then, appear. The trial's on. Try not to miss it. Step up and state your case and be explicit.
May it please the court, this case involves a very small matter. By this I don't mean mere trivia or idle chatter, but a particle of matter best described as little.
Smaller than a jot?
Even smaller than a tittle.
Are you referring to molecule X?
Yes.
And why don't you say so?
I will, if I may so. The point, Your Honor, is that should X be acquitted here, catastrophe will follow, since it must then be admitted here that all control of elements has given away to anarchy, and every substance will perforce be jittery and panicky. Thus, when we wish a molecule to join up with some other, to make a cup or lemon drop, or the Karamazov brothers, to be a fog or a catalogue, or a lawn to be idyllic on, a beagle or a bagel, or a mountain made of silicon, they may refrain, they may desist, and if enough of them should do so, there'll never be another tenor singer like Caruso. No dog to bark, no lark to hark, no grand old man like Talleyrand. No bee will be, you'll see no sea, no ostrich fanned for Sally Rand.
It's staggering. It's awesome, the damage X could wreak. By simply playing possum, it makes me rather weak. Clegg, order me a pony of spirits of ammonia.
Now there you are. If X's rebellion is indulged, I think it only safe to say, and fair to be divulged, there'll never be another atom of the element ammonium. So take that home and play it on Your Honor's own euphonium.
Young man, I blasted you a disapproving snort and warn you, one more phrase like that. Contempt of court. Now, who is here for the defense?
I am, Your Honor.
Well, commence.
I do so. Now you see, sir.
I see nothing of the sort. Who's paying you your fee, sir?
No one at all. The way it is with me, sir, I'm acting out of interest in civil liberty, sir.
What's liberty to do with it, if you will be so kind?
Just this. Where in the universal law books can you find it's criminal for anything to be of open mind?
The precedent is ample.
It is. Let's have a sample.
Blackstone on the elements. Case of bismuth versus molybdenum.
Oh, drat the books. Our legal forebears doubtlessly all fibbed in them.
Hold on there, you upstart. Is not the horse before the cart? Where would we be without tradition?
In some advanced, improved position.
What? Young man, are you a red? Have you been to the Crimson Bread?
Neither to crimson nor to purple.
Well, no whippersnapping twiple. Challenge me. What do you take me for?
A most distinguished expert on the law.
Very sensible thing you've said today. Where were we in this trial, by the way?
On the right of X to have an open mind. Now, surely justice is not yet so blind as to be unfavorably disposed.
Towards openness of mind, my mind is closed.
Your Honor, this is scandal.
Now, see here, I can handle this. Let's have no more of your bold to do. A molecule must do what it is told to do. Now, that's decided. Suppose we break for lunch. I'm famished. Been a tiring day. I sure would like to crunch. A nice fresh salad bowl of crispy, tangy hashish.
Your Honor, I cannot refrain from calling you a fascist.
Contempt of court. Flank, find the counsel for defendant, please. He has the brass to charge the bench with having fascist tendencies. Ridiculous and ludicrous. Make it a heavy fine. How could I be a fascist? Why, I am so benign, I hardly ever beat my wife. My children bow before me. I'm much admired by rattlesnakes, and birds of prey adore me. I'm tender and I'm sensitive. An anti-insurrectionist. I wouldn't hurt a cobra. And I'm anti-vivisectionist.
I'm sure that's absolutely true, and that you're not the sort who would deny a prisoner his right to speak in court. Your might is mixed with mercy, and wisdom's interfused. So how about a word or two from X, who is accused?
Oh, very well. Since your appeal is to the better side of me, let no one say my conduct here is prejudiced or snide of me. We'll hear from X, but make it short. Where is the little dope?
Right here beneath this new electronic super microscope.
Swear him in.
Put your right hand on the atomic table and say as loud as you are able, I do solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and Buzz was the Muzzawalla, Buzzawalla, Hutset, Fluga, Bugle, Putt, Putt, Scuttlebutt, and nothing but the truth. So help me I. Now testify.
What's that squeaking?
My client, speaking.
Well, how do you expect me to understand?
There's an interpreter at hand.
Where? I don't see any.
Right at your elbow.
Oh, yes. How do?
I'm very well, Bo.
Bo, aren't you getting a bit familiar?
I suppose I am, but please think nil of it.
Can you understand what the molecule says?
Yes, that's my business, isn't it?
A fake character.
Like a film by Disney.
Disney's not involved in this.
Why isn't he?
I don't know. Where does all this lead?
Nowhere.
Then please proceed to interpret X for the court of Lex. Lex is Latin for law, I guess, which shows I, too, enjoy access to more than one tongue. I'm a giant intellect. Now, let's hear your client.
Proceed, if you will, Mr. Molecule. Let your story fairly leap from you. Oh, come on, we're waiting now. The court wants to hear a peep from you.
X says as follows. I cannot bring myself to be just anything that's asked of me. I cannot chide my inner soul. I must confide I've set a goal. I've thought it through and cannot bear to be shampoo for oily hair. My spirit sings, my fiber spiels of nobler things and high ideals. I'll fairly bust my heart within if I am just an onion skin. I worry some. What's drearier than to become bacteria? And when I've tried hard to obey, my conscience cried, but hold, but stay. A worm for bait? I have my pride. I vacillate. I can't decide. Though Hamlet had a hard time, why, he wasn't so sad as little I. You see my lot?
Yes.
It's not for me to be or not, but what to be.
Mm-hmm.
My plight inside is bona fide. I can't decide. I can't decide.
I've never been so touched or moved. I sniffle and I blubber. I thought my heart was made of steel, but it is made of rubber. Poor little thing, tormented so by dreams of the eugenic.
Oh, fiddlesticks, this molecule is but a schizophrenic. How is it that in all the time since matter first appeared, each separate iota has loyally adhered to universal law without a solitary beef?
Beef?
Until this pipsqueak came along. Now suddenly there's grief. The heavens shake and earthquakes quake and oceans heave and slither. And dogs and cats and acrobats are in a frightful dither. A timid snip has lost its grip and whines of its neurosis. If you condone this freak, you'll reek of moral halitosis. I strongly urge your honor, purge X to its smallest decimal, or else the infinite will bow before the infinitesimal.
You're right. What was I thinking of to pity Jan Schlemiel? I thought my heart was fairly soft, but it is made of steel. I shall not spoil this molecule by sparing it the rod. And so I sentence it to die before a firing squad. Perhaps a little torture first, like singeing at the stake, and drops of water on the head. And for variety's sake, a little twist of the garrote, a slice of guillotine. And X shall mark the spot where X was boiled in Vaseline.
I ask this sentence be appealed.
Impossible. Your client's fate is sealed.
Ah, no, the court's decision is far from ineluctable. I must remind you, my good sir, that matter's indestructible.
Gadzooks, it is. I had forgot. We can't destroy a particle. It seems we're in the power of this clever young upstarticle.
The case is lost. I must withdraw. If punishment's not capital and X cannot be executed, I don't give a rapital. We can't imprison it, and we'd be in a most infernal stew with cosmic checks and balances eternally askew.
Oh, dear. Vasemere. What will become of all of us? This little Jake and his strange quirk will surely be the fall of us.
Your Honor.
You mean me?
May I have a conference with you at the bench?
Why, of course.
May I suggest a means by which disaster be evaded? My client is no pighead and may likely be persuaded to join some element or other. X is not a softy.
No?
It merely wishes to belong to something fairly lofty. Its point of view is forward. Its attitude is global. Its heart is set on being part of something good and noble.
How righteous.
So I suggest you demonstrate, and this will never hurt you, that being this or that or t'other has a point of virtue.
Well, how do you propose we do it?
I have a plan. I was coming to it. Invite a representative of each important kingdom.
You mean like Dempsey for the ring, or Artie Shaw for swingdom?
No, but you're warm.
A lion for the jungle, or an eagle for all wingdom?
Keep on. Remember, 3 of them, and 1 for every kingdom.
Oh, I know. Animal and mineral and, I forget the third.
The vegetable kingdom.
Why, yes, of course. Absurd. That's splendid. We could get them here, and each could make a pitch. And X could then make up its mind to which it wished to hitch. I'll call a recess in this trial while we round up a trio. Meanwhile, some music. Clank?
Yes, sir.
Can you sing Solo Mio?
No, but the court musicians would be very glad to play for you.
Where's the conductor?
I'm right here.
Is everything okay for you?
You bet. Shall I begin, Your Honor, with a prelude by Stravinsky or toccata for the G-string by the famous brothers Minsky?
Have you anything around that Dmitri Shostakovich wrote?
Oh, yes. A Passacaglia, and I'm sure that you will love its note.
I've changed my mind. I'll have a slug of music by Lynn Murray. The one he calls Wer leerde Nacht, one chicken mitten curry. Is that title correct?
Yeah, I fear it is.
Okay, then, play it.
Here it is.
1, 2.
If you want to find out the undecided molecule's fate, please join me on Thursday for the conclusion of Norman Corwin's hilarious masterpiece. Goodbye for now.